Hey, one thing I forgot to do. Hang on. I need to go into setting. I keep. There we go. Sorry about that. So, Shaky SoCal, 2Old4Forza, time for the next track guide for TNT. Season, what are we now? 44, 45, somewhere in the 40s. But it's with the 2014 Mazda LMP2 Skyactiv diesel. Starting the second half of the season, and we are headed to Spa. So, like all the track guides, I'm just going to go out and run a couple of hot laps really quick just to finish warming up. Talk a little bit about that. Then I'll do the slow turn by turn track guide. Kind of talk about what I think the car is doing, where there might be issues, and then because I need to practice, I'll mock race against the AI. We'll see how we do. So let's go ahead and get into the test drive here. I know there's been a lot of discussion on whether we use traction control or not. What should we or shouldn't we? There's really only like two definite places here where TC will help, and one place that I'll say is kind of sketchy. Turn one is definitely a place where traction control is beneficial. The other place where traction control might be beneficial is all the way at the is actually the last chicane. And then the sketchy part is if I get my turn names right, is Bruxelles. So I'll point out here in a second. But down to third, go ahead and use a lot of the inside curving here. Use it if you can. Just a quick lift, turn in, roll back the throttle very early, or even before the apex. Down fourth gear. This is Bruxelles, so I can go to second gear here. I'm going to hug the inside. Revs are pretty high up, but just don't stab the throttle. Third gear there. Most of the rest of the track is the lowest gear you're going to be in is third. Quick brake going into Wuhan. Roll back the throttle, go a little wide there. It's okay. Thankfully, Wuhan track limits wide. It's not going to get you a penalty. Down to third, late apex there, cut across, use the curve there. Out. This can be done in second or third preference. I think third might be better. If you're one of those, I'll probably do third. Through step low on the back straight, heading down towards Blanchemont. Fifth gear. And use a little bit of the outside curving or outside line there. Oh, a little late there, but you can see easy flat. Here's the other place where traction control might come in handy. All the way down to second gear. I want to try and cut that as much as I can to open the turn up. And I'm really not committing to full throttle until I get up to the curving. But even then, a bit sketchy. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I think will work there if you're not going to run traction control. Even if you do run traction control, it might still be a good line to run. You can see I'm really not committing back full throttle until I've got the car pretty much pointed straight. Down to the right side here for Eau Rouge and Lyon. I always butcher the name of that turn, but you can see this car compared to the Falcon we ran last season, easy flat. The car comes off the left side. Third gear. Kind of missed the curving there. We'll plug this one here, just let the car do the work. Roll back in. There's a lot of it inside curving. Bruxelles. Kind of using the green on the inside there is a helpful hit. Oh, the exit will sneak up on you if you're not careful. That's a little bit late, but we salvaged that as best we can. And these turns are important to get smooth, but it's probably a little more curving than I want to use. A little earlier on the turn in there, but let's see if we can get launchement a little bit better. That was almost too wide. Again, easy flat. Second gear, try and use a little bit of the inside curve, straighten it out. It's not the best I've taken it in practice. So that's the lap spot on the Mazda without TC. 209 now. So I was running it with a controller. I was running 209.6 or 208.6s, but I'm not sure. I can't remember if that's with traction control or not. And again, controller different than Wii. All right, so let's do the track walk. So coming down to what is this? I always get the names. This isn't Lacombe. Is this Lacombe? No, this isn't Lacombe. Hang on. This is how I know all the track all the turn names. No, La Source. Lacombe is later. So for turn one, the Source. This is again one of the. If you're not going to run traction control, this is one of the two turns that it's going to be sketchy. So for me, I'm braking. I think with correlating with the braking line and braking about where that last red Forza banner is on the right side. And for me, this is second gear, so brake down to second gear. I'm pretty much kind of following the braking line, what the guidance is. But I'm going to try and get it into the apex as the car does like me going so slow. So I'm going to try and use a little bit of this inside curving as I can. This is where I'll start to roll back into the throttle, but I'm not going to. Again, it's because of the turbo and the way it spools up. We don't have anti-lag. I'm not running traction control right now. I'm really not going to commit back to throttle until I'm almost completely out of the turn. But I want to start rolling back in to try and build up some of that revs and try and get it close to that point where the boost is going to kick in. So just slow. It's probably not going to be until I got the car almost all the way out and parallel with the curving on the left side, and then I'm going to feel comfortable getting back to full throttle. Again, as far as if there's going to be wheel spin, I want wheel spin happening when the car is pointed straight, and no weight transfer on the back that's going to cause it to fishtail out. So that's sketchy turn one. So heading down the hill, just going to wind it up. I forget it. I think I'm only in fourth gear at this point. But I'm going to take the same line that I always take, no matter what the car is, like I did in the Falcon. It's just, I think one of the things is going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be hard to get over, but it's going to be the definite kind of relief is the last few times I've been here, we've had to be in cars with either very little downforce or no downforce, and it's always been kind of trying to get the balance right up through here. This car, foot to the floor, you can do Eau Rouge and Radio flat. But I'm still gonna, be to the right side and kind of cross that white line there. I'll bring it back over to the left. I'm going to hit the curb a little bit here. I'm going to be looking at the inside curb, heading up the hill, and I'm going to try and turn it in. So, as I kind of mentioned before, there's kind of a flat part of here where I'm going to hug the inside, this curbing as much as possible as I cross the hill. So that way, even like I'm pointing straight, if I go straight here, I'm not going to cross over the line on the left side. And then I can just do a very gentle left, just a very gentle turn to the left as I cross the hill. Maybe get close to it, let the car come all the way out. That's my time. Now we're on the camel straight. So fourth gear up to fifth gear, the car and then King just let the car drift back over to the left. Hopefully, if you've done it right, the person in front of you has it, you might be able to get a draft down into Lacombe. And so for me, the braking point is as far as trying to find references in addition to the braking line. Most other cars are usually braking right before the curving on the left side. I'm actually not going to be braking until you get to this last Forza line here on the left. Right, for me, that's about where I'm braking. Again, I'm using 200 brake pressure tune. I've also have a pretty sensitive brake pedal, so I don't have to put a lot of pressure on it to get the brakes to grab. So from here, fifth gear, down to third, looking in the inside curving, release the brakes, turn in. I'm going to try and use, unlike some of the previous tracks, the curbs are a bit friendlier at Spa than where we've raced at in the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to try and use a little bit of the inside curbing here, kind of feathering the throttle, lift the throttle a little bit to turn in. I'm definitely going to use as much of this curbing as I can here. I'm going to try and keep the car on the left side, roll back in the throttle a little bit. As I get out, opening up for this corner, I'll let out of the throttle to turn in, and I am going to use a lot of this inside curving if I can. And if I've done it right, as I was saying in the kind of the hot laps here, I will be, if I do it right, I will be back to full throttle probably right about here. It'll be definitely before the apex, before I really cross over. And again, where I'm gonna use the curbing, it's gonna be late because I'm trying to straighten this out, square it up a little bit, and get a good run out of it. I will fair warning. This is one of the exit of this turn is one of the turns I definitely use to try and set up runs down into Bruxelles. A lot of people, because it's a left-right combo, they may not get it right. They may be a little slow getting out. They may go off on the left side, not the right side, on the left side. But I do kind of use that. If I can get a good run, I might be able to get, I might be able to get the overlap heading down into Bruxelles. So definitely watch out for me there. Setting down the hill, third gear. Braking still seems to be consistent where the curving here begins on the left side. So this is down to second gear. This is the corner where I would say is semi-sketchy. It's not, as far as getting back to the throttle, because I'm in second gear, but I'm still carrying enough speed and I still have enough revs in the engine that starting to roll back in the throttle, I should be almost past that point of the boost kicking in like a sledgehammer and spinning the rear tires off. But what I'm going to look for is as I turn in, I'm going to try and get it to the inside. And the first thing I'm going to look for is the camera boot to get the car to the inside. And then where I'm actually looking to start rolling back into the throttle, you can kind of see, they put the extra little green patches of asphalt on the inside of the curbing and the grass. And I think that's to kind of show that this is kind of, you can almost double apex this depending on how the car you're in. So it's the second patch of green there that I'm looking for. I'll be a little bit in the throttle, but I may start experimenting with the throttle as I'm coming out of the corner. I'm going to keep it to the inside, let it come back out, hopefully roll back in second gear. Third gear, I don't have any reference points here. Unfortunately, there's no easy static reference with the braking line. Usually, I think it's about where it turns red. It's about where the guidance line kind of parallels up with the right side of the course here with the curving. But here, third gear, it is a quick off the throttle. I can't remember if I brake or not. If I do, it's a very slight tap just to get some weight in the front. Turn the car in. Use a lot of the inside curving if you can. Roll back into the throttle. Out, heading down the hill towards Wuhan. You can use a little bit of curving. I would probably try and stay off the outside curving there if you can. It will pull the car a little bit. So let's see, third gear, fourth gear, or fifth gear. Send down to Wuhan. I don't know. This is one of those. You can do it. You could do it in fourth. You could do it in fifth. I think for me, maybe early on, I'll probably do it in fourth, just to keep revs a little higher, give me a little engine braking benefit, and a little more point on turn in until I get comfortable. I might try it in fifth, but regardless, where I'm going to be full throttle. As I get to the course condition light here on the right side, just after the TV camera position, that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as my turn in. It's a quick tap of the brake and turn in. And once you turn in, I'm really staying off the throttle. This is one turn where the inside curving will, because of the amount of speed you're carrying, the inside curving is going to, if you hit it, it's going to push you back out. So try and stay off the inside curving here. Once you kind of hit the apex, and you can start rolling back into the throttle out, fourth gear, fifth gear. As I said earlier, track limits for Wuhan. If you exit wide and come back on, you can just, if you exit wide, just keep full throttle and get back on when you can. You're not going to get penalized for it. I think even though you're staying full throttle and still carrying speed, the time you're losing because you've gone wide isn't enough for the game to kind of like go, you got the course. Technically you didn't. You didn't shorten the course at all. You lengthened it. So, but use a little bit of this exit curving if you can. Now I'll probably be in fourth gear here if you're in fifth. This is all flat out. Again, past the camera position, I'll probably late apex here. Just be careful. Be careful. If you're going to hug the inside a bit, just be careful. How do I put it? If you go in too early and you hug the inside of the corner, then all of a sudden your exit, unless you make an adjustment, it's going to shoot you back across the track, and all of a sudden you're going to find yourself wide on exit. So just, there's multiple lines we can do with this car. Just be careful, especially if you're on a quick lap and you want to log a quick clean lap. But bring the car back up here to the right side. Usually I'll be in fifth gear at this point, heading down these last couple of sections. This is where I forget what is this called again? It's these next couple of corners that I always kind of forget what they're called. Campus. Campus Davlo, Corbe Paul Frere, and then Blanchemont. So again, for campus. Fifth gear here, as I get to the curbing, I'm kind of using the curbing. I'm kind of relying on the braking line, so I can't specifically say, hey, this is where I'm braking. But whatever gear I'm in, fourth and fifth, I'm going to brake back down to third. And I'm looking for that camber position on the inside. I'm going to use that to kind of help guide me into the inside here. For me, the apex, though, is going to be late. So it's going to be kind of the second half of this green patch is what I'm going to be using, kind of trying to get the car in and lined up. Because what I'm trying to do is a little bit of that curbing is I want to kind of just then go straight across the track. Here, still in third gear, lift a little bit and get in on the inside curbing here. Getting out of campus. Bring the car out to the out. Still third gear. Heading into, let's see, this is Stavlo. Bring the car back across. This is the other corner where I think on my own, when you brake for Stavlo here, if you're in third gear, I think third gear is fine. I think once you get into rhythm, that's probably going to be optimal gear. You'll get a little bit of pull. It won't be so low in the rev range that you have to worry about wheel spin. You'll get a good torque out of it. I think actually doing it in second is a smidgen slower. But probably if I'm in traffic, I'll probably do the second. Again, putting it in second puts the car a little bit more on its toes, gives me a little bit better turn in control. And that I would value more in traffic, trying to set up passes or trying to set gaps up or like that to try and get runs on people out of here. So second or third gear, up to you. Turn in, pull back into the throttle. Definitely up to third gear at this point. I will use a lot of this outside curving. Maybe early in the race, I'll probably keep it neat and tidy. But as I gain confidence, I'll start using more of this outside if I can. You'll feel the car pull a little bit to the left. Just be mindful of that. But for me, the turn-in point is as I'm down here. It is about where the start of the curving on the right side kind of exits my field of view. That's kind of what I use. Once I start to overlap there, I'm going to turn in. So I probably turn a little bit earlier than what the game suggests, but then usually we meet up about the apex. And for me, I'm going to abuse the curving here late, just past where the green ends. I'll probably cross over a little bit here and out, and hopefully if I've done it right, I can smoothly bring the car out to the left side, still throttle, and not get on the curving on the outside here. You can kind of see how it just kind of pulls you out. So again, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, heading down to Blanc. Car's nice and smooth, no buffeting like we had in the GT40. I'll probably apex this one a little bit, maybe stay off the line. Again, this is the other one is as I get confidence, I'll probably straddle the white line here on the right side. But even if you don't, Blanchemont is easy flat. Bring the car out, still in fifth gear, and let the car naturally come back in the kink left side. And now we hit the other sketchy point with track limits, or not track limits, traction control, second gear. I don't have a definitive place here. I'm kind of relying on the braking line at this point as far as where I'm braking, but I am respecting where that braking line turns red because I think it's more important to make sure I've got the car slowed down before I go in because I don't want to go in with too much speed and have to kind of wrestle with that as I'm trying to figure out how to get traction down. So here's what I'm trying to do, and I think this works, but it's kind of one of those I need to do a bunch of laps to really sort it out. But I'm going to get brake down to second gear. I'm going to try and cut. Going to try and cut the inside curving here for the chicane. Late. It's kind of the similar line. It's almost what I will be doing when I go into pit lane. So I want to try and cut this as late as possible so that I am all the way over here. And I think this is where I might differ from the braking line a little bit, is I actually want to be a little bit more to the right than what the line suggests to try and open this up to, again, so I'm not doing it as severe. Because here at this point, once I brake and I've turned in, I'm barely back in the throttle at all. Again, I'm trying to get back in enough to try and get some revs built up. Still in second gear, I'll let off a little bit, still have a little bit of throttle as I get the apex, start to roll back in, use that little bit of the curve there. And then if I've done it right, this is the hard part. It's like, it's going to have to be done by feel. When you feel that the car is mostly straight and maybe you've got the wheel mostly straight, then you can roll back in. Again, you don't want to stab at it. I'd also try and avoid getting on the outside curves as well. If you're not running traction control, you're going to have a hard enough time trying to get back to throttle. And you get on the curbing out there, you get on the throttle too bad, it'll spin the tires up and it'll shoot you back across the track. Just to point out, because I actually did this some practice lap, and I'll just do this really quick. Don't damage the car. So you might be thinking, well, second gear, could I use first? No. You think second gear is bad as far as wheel spin and turbo kicking in. First gear is even worse. So let's just set that up really quick. Trying to. That's close enough. Okay. And I go watch, rewind that a little bit. I'm not even sure. I don't even think I was much past half throttle. I would not do first gear. You might try third. I just think third's going to be a little bit low-key, but it might give you that little bit of safety exiting out where, because it's so low in the rev range in third, that you're going to be out of the turn by the time the turbo kicks in and you really start accelerating. It just means if somebody is in second and they get a really good exit, they might get that little bit they need to get by into turn one. But that is, let me get the right gear, find gear. So that's the spot. For me, it's hot lapping and hot lapping against the AI, without traction control is one thing, but when you start getting into race situations on Thursday nights and you're trying to get by people and you're trying to set things up, it's really easy to give it that little too much and spin the car out. For at least for today, I want to run the first half of this mock race without TC, and then I'll run the second half with it. Hashtag me personally. I'm in bucket 6. I'm starting, 4 to 5 minutes behind everybody else. I'm probably going to use traction control. Again, it's for me. It's just for those, just to give me that little extra bit of confidence and consistency out of the corners. If this car didn't have snap oversteer as much as it does in these lower gears, I probably wouldn't use it. But that's me. But anyhow, let's get out of test drive here. And should everybody click the test drive session? Yes, I do. All right, so for Thursday, Matt's got the race distance set at 31 laps. I'm going to run 16 just so I can do 8 and 8 on stints. And let's go ahead. Actually, let's stop talking. Let's just get right in and do do the race. Now the race setup. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got. Yep, we have 24. Go ahead, 16 laps at Spa. If you've not watched Track Guide before, or you have, again, usually the way I practice, on my own is I do set up mock races to free play to try and mimic as closely as I can what I might be seeing, or at least to set up situations. Driver cars race very differently. The cars will make their speed differently. Starting up in front, the first group that's going out, starting right off the green, right off race start, is the Forza P2 division that this car is in, though I'm running a little bit higher PI. Plus, those cars I'm definitely quicker than as far as the driver cars. Starting about 30 seconds behind them is the Forza P1 division. They're going to run, especially here, some of these guys are probably going to be running close to my pace. Definitely they're going to have a straight line on me. I'm going to make that up a lot in any of the twisty bits. And then just to give me something that might push me a little bit, or at least give me cars that are definitely faster than me, is we've got a couple 2017 Indy cars. It looks like we've got Dixon, Hinchcliffe, and I think that looks like Will's car. That is Will. And then I start 5 seconds behind them. And since I'm only doing half distance, there is one required quick stop that I will take. For sake of practice. I'll take it about halfway through. So definitely you can see Indy cars have already pulled out a couple seconds on me. Where they're going to struggle, and where the driver cars tend to struggle, is navigating traffic. So that's where I'll probably make up a lot of distance. All right, so front tire is still cold, so this is going to be a little slippery. Yeah, a little bit. See the effects there a little bit. There we go. Oh, a little too much speed. It's a little early. I'm going to try and square the second half of that chicane up a little bit more. Again, it's if I can get the car mostly rotated before I get to the apex, I can probably roll back into the throttle a little bit sooner. Of course, then missing shifts doesn't help either. Already pulled out 10 seconds. Wow. Oh, that almost cut that too much. It's a little bit of wheel spin there. So I'm saying it's not. Brussels in the second, you'll get a little bit more warning than the other turns. You can use second gear there. And see, I'm flirting with that inside curving, and I shouldn't. I was telling you guys not to. the same time. You guys know that by now. That, and you'll probably see some questionable racecraft as I catch traffic. So I'd like to see if I can get a decent lap without TC, and then we'll see how much TC can move back and kick out a little bit there. 294. There's more time there. That was better. A little early. It is just a quick break and turn it in. Let's try that in fifth gear next time. See if there's uh, 288. I probably lost a tenth or so on that just out of the chicane. So, yeah, right about where, in and around where I was at with the control without traction control. So then we'll see how much of a difference. But I'm still going to try and go quicker. This lap is probably about 2 or 3 tenths off. Oh, 4 tenths. See if I can scratch some of that back. Probably won't be able to because I'm now catching traffic. But I'm trying to part of it there. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get Puhan. I'm going to set up for campus. Look here. Oh, we went wide. Stay out there. Stay out there. Oh, come on. Awareness. Yeah, situational awareness is not always the driver's car strong suit. It's not always mine either. But okay, I think what's happening probably cutting that little entry a little too much. Just the way the camber of the road is. I think that's then pushing the back end of the car out. So maybe I not cut as much next time. Find out. No, it doesn't look like they're gaining. Whoop, third gear. A little too. A little bit better. I'm flirting with the spin out. It's probably going to happen before half distance, but ooh, that was bad. That would have been a really good time. And you can shift that anytime you want. Once you're in Wuhan, you don't have to wait until you're out of it if you want to. If you want to shift the fit, I don't think. Again, if you're running hood view, the hood camera is so far forward that hang on. I want to make sure I get out of that corner. You can go quite a ways over the line before you're going to get dinged. At least, if compared to, say, the Falcon we were in last season. 284. Let's see if I can do that again. Well, of course, then I did the 284 because I did shortcut a Rouge and Red, so. little sluggish out of there, but again, just being conservative. A little too much speed in. Get the car straight and then plane it down the hill. Alright, so we'll box this lap. I'll turn TC on just for the second half of the race and see what I'm capable of. When I don't have to worry about spinning the car out. Cut the inside, just a little bit on the grass and ever slightly rotated the car more. Alright, pit entry. Let's see if I can do that without hitting the pit attenuator. Okay. Second gear. Yeah, that's a little sluggish, but I'd rather be a little conservative getting in. Catches it early. Plenty of time to break, to drain. Actually, I don't think it's. I mean, you might be able to get, for those of you who like to find places to enjoy your favorite beverage. Aside from pit lane, Camel Straight's probably the only place you're going to get a chance. Because the back straight heading to Blanchemont isn't exactly straight. Let's see if pit exit is, because I think you still have to give it a little bit of left-right steering. Yeah. Just keep it to the right until you're merged back on the track, and then you're back on the racing line. Cold tires, so this is going to be a little bit pushy. A little bit of understeer, just give it a little more. Just turn the wheel just a touch more. It looks like the backs are finally coming in, but the front's probably not until we're through here. That's me. I should have gotten down seconds sooner. And the tires are probably not quite up there. There's another time penalty. Wow, yeah, tires really, even though they're no longer blue, they're not up to full grip yet. Of course, I could just be crap at driving right now, but and I totally forgot the trash control on. Who cares? We'll finish without it. A couple of other P2, a string of P2 cars here. Probably catch one or two of them down the Camel Straight. And maybe the rest after Puhan heading into campus. Let's see. That looks like a P1 car is about to exit the pits, might just be joining the party. Go get him. I will follow you. Just don't be slow. Slow. First, a questionable racecraft. Let's see if I can get a run down to Bruxelles. Yeah, I mean, I can get I got a little better exit, but I just can't match the straight line. Now he's gonna get caught up. All right. So we'll look to see if anybody goes wide to Wuhan. He does. Just a little bit of lift because I couldn't quite see turning. And I'm going to semi-trust that they're going to take this flat. They don't. I'll take the outside. And I'm in first, short shift to second. Oh god, that's going to be torture. Have some time to the Indy car. Alright, I'm going to take a defensive line here just to keep the people behind me. And that was probably enough to... Alright, so he won't catch me. I'm not going to catch the P2 yet. Okay, definitely going to look for that run down to Bruxelles again. Not the cleanest move, but a little bit of a run down to Wuhan, but I don't think more break than usual. I'm going to try and see. Yep, he went wide. I was going to say I want to try and hug the inside just to see if that gets me alongside down into campus, but don't need to worry about that. And try not to run into any car this time. They were saying how the driver's cars tend to not be. Yeah, I think this is unbeatable with aggression turned off, but they just don't have. Oh, sorry. No, I'm not. How did you not see me? They seem to have problems trying to navigate traffic. Got to run the Ford on the front straight, and so I'm going to do the same thing. We'll take a slightly defensive line down. I'll just put it right in the middle. Again, I got enough downforce I can do that and still be flat through erosion. Ready on. Yeah, that's the other thing I gotta watch out for is cresting the hill. Time it right. Ideally, I would have wanted to time that where I would have passed on the left going down the Kemmel Straight, but that's why we practice. still out there, so I'm gonna hook the inside a little bit more. The wheel spin, pass on the outside. So I would say for as many times we race spot, it's, you know, obvious places to pass are obvious. Probably talk a little bit about that in the next lap here. But, you know, places I look for, obvious places are obvious. You know, Dirk's going to get a good run onto the back straight through good blanchiment. It would be ideal. Excuse me. It's going to be one of the first things I test in the new Forza Motorsport game. It's just like how aware are the AI? Oh, way slow, way slow, way slow. Okay, so if you get a good run, if you happen to get a good run out, or maybe the guy in front of you doesn't, obvious pass is obvious into turn one. Just again, the exit is sketchy if you're not running traction control because of the wheel spin that'll hit. If you can't get it there, oh, hello, Mr. IndyCar. I'm going to play this game again. I don't know that I would pass through Eau Rouge Medallion, Radion, sorry. But definitely if you can get a run and maybe draft up the Camel Straight, then passing into Lacombe would be the next most obvious. Again, obvious places are obvious. Underbraking here. If you're not alongside here, then I would try and set up to cut the exit and get a run down into Bruxelles. I won't get it here. But this is for me, this is one that I'll be looking for on Thursday. Not enough time to set up a pass into that turn. Maybe enough to set something getting out. Again, Puhan, you really want to be alongside if you're going to try and make a pass here. But if you can set a run out of Puhan, as I do questionable racecraft, you might be able to set up a pass into campus. Can't here, then just figure out where Really, for me, it's all about getting better exit speed than your opponent. So I want to get a better exit out of here. I want to definitely get a better exit through here. And he's got better straight lines, so he's going to start pulling on me here before. Nope, he's going to drop in behind me. Again, I don't know how well drafting will be. So I don't know. Unless somebody makes a mistake, I don't know how you're really going to be able to set up the pass heading into the chicane here to end the lap. At least in my experience, too, if you're going to try and set up a pass under braking, you really want to be starting to overlap with them. At least your front tire with their rear. If you're not anywhere close to that, good luck. So I'd rather, for me, it's all about setting up the run out of the corner, and so that I'm alongside at the braking for the next corner. So then it's like, yeah, I'm going to outrake you into Lacombe. I'm going to make a pass. It's like, don't hit me. I didn't time that well, but I know that the Porsche does not have a straight line, so I can outforce him. Almost saved it. Well, it'll be a more exciting last couple of laps, I guess. Did I not leave enough room? Was the drivatar just being a drivatar? I don't know. But that was an unsafe rejoin, so don't rejoin that way. Okay, let me be a little defensive one. Pull a little gap on the guy behind me because they don't take this flat for some reason. Run. Yes, I am slow through that corner. Didn't time that well. A little bit of a draft off the Porsche. I thought about it, but it's like for as much as they've been kind of oblivious this race, watch it probably hit me here. Oh, okay, good. All right, well. All right, let's see if I can at least get one or two more positions before the end of the lap. I think I can, provided, I don't run into people. Timing on this is going to be interesting because I've got straight line on him, and I'm probably going to catch him right where I don't want to. So I'm going to lift a little bit. Now hit the gas, do the crossover. So that's actually semi decent. All right, we're going to try for 7. Just based off pace, it's probably going to be, at this point, I'm hoping I can catch him out of Blanchimont. Oh, I might actually. Oh, that was a little late. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah. Well, no, I'm not gonna get it because I'm an idiot. Just go ahead and finish this out. I got close. But again, had it not gone off, uh, I might have gotten a 7. The 286, clean lap without traction control, so there's probably a little more time there. But anyhow, that is Spawn the Mazda. Again, really, for if you're not going to run traction control, you just really got to be, first and last turns are the trouble spots, and then Bruxelles can be if you do that second. But you'll feel the back end kick out. Other than that, it's pretty much mostly third gear corners, third gear at the lowest. But that'll do it. 36, yeah. So yeah, 31 laps is probably going to be pretty accurate as far as distance. So with that, hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Lots of good racing on this weekend. Formula One, Monaco tomorrow, Indy 500, and then Coca-Cola 600. So full day's worth of hopefully good racing. But with that, I'm gonna call it a day. You guys have a great weekend and happy racing.